what's up? My name is Samuel Leeds. I'm a property investor, and on this video on YouTube, I'm going to be in depth answering your questions around property investment. Sometimes you might see my videos pop up on Instagram or TikTok. This is the place to get a more in-depth discussion and deep dive into some questions that are holding you back in property. So listen up. Drop your comments, drop your questions below in the video, and then what I'll do is I'll try my very best to answer them on next week's video. So let's see what questions we had from last week's YouTube video. By the way, if you enjoy my channel, please let me know. I spend so much time doing these videos for you to help you in property. So let me know by smashing the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn the notification bell on. Imagine if you ask me a question and I answer it really eloquently, but you never know I answered it because you weren't subscribed. That would be terrible. So subscribe, turn the bell on, and let's see what we got. So we got Jason Stevenson said, "Hi Samuel, have you ever bought over the guide price?" I have. I have bought properties at over the guide price. And firstly, the guide price, the asking price, it doesn't matter. What matters is what the property is worth to you. So I've had situations where I'm buying a property, even not from auction, from estate agents, whereby I'm thinking there's a big plot of land on the side of the house, and I'm thinking that house is on the market for £150,000, but I know I could extend it or I could build on the side of it. So I might pay £160,000, but then get planning permission, which might cost me a few £1,000s, and then boom, I've pushed the value right up. So paying over the guide price isn't always a bad thing. It usually is, but it's about what's the property worth to you as an investment. Also, with the guide price, if you're buying from auction, you've got three prices. You've got the guide price, which is how much the property is advertised at. But then at auction, it will usually always sell above the guide price. You've then got the reserve price, which is the lowest that the seller will actually accept. That's usually got to be within 10% of the guide price. And then you have the purchase price. So those are the prices that you have. So it's not unusual to go over the guide price, especially if the guide price has been set really low just to attract investors into the room. I hope that helps. Next question. Razvan Gabriel. What percentage of your money do you usually pull out from a BRRR deal, and how long does it take? Great question. So I'm always aiming to pull out 100% of my money. So if I put in £100,000 into a deal, let's say £50,000 purchase price, £50,000 refurb, renovation and everything else, 100 grand all in, I would aim to then get the value at a higher amount to the point where I can pull out the entire investment that I put in to begin with. However, does that always happen? No, it doesn't. If it did, then the person who could guarantee that that would always happen would have an unlimited amount of properties, because they just go, they just keep recycling over and over forever. Whereas in reality, what happens is sometimes you pull it all out, other times you might pull out 90%. If you're really unlucky, you might pull out 85%. But pulling out less than 85% is really bad news, because you may as well just buy it and not add value at all. But yeah, generally speaking, though, I do pull out, I'd say 95% of my money. All right, Darren. Would you recommend starting property investment with buy-to-let mortgage? And would this affect buying my own home in the future? Yeah, so it wouldn't particularly affect it. Every mortgage lender is different. What a lender wants to see is that you're going to be able to pay back the mortgage and you're going to be able to pay the interest. So if you buy a buy-to-let property, as long as that buy-to-let property is ticking over nicely and it's all working okay, what the lender wants to see is that you're going to be able to pay back that mortgage and you're going to be able to pay the interest payments. So if you've got a buy-to-let property that you own and the tenants are in there and they're paying their mortgage and it's all going fine, it shouldn't affect you getting a residential mortgage to live in. So would you recommend starting with buy-to-let mortgage? Is it going to affect you down the line? No. In fact, if you do get a residential mortgage first, that will actually help you, because if you've got a residential mortgage, you're a property owner. So it's going to help you get buy-to-let mortgages. My advice would probably be to speak to a broker though about your situation, because there's a whole host of factors they're going to want to look at: your earnings, your credit. So probably speak to a broker and work out what's best, but that's just the general idea of how they work. Okay, Kai Bry says, hi Samuel, I'm 16, respect. I've been watching your videos for about a year now, and I have been to a crash course and read your books and love them. Well done. I'm not sure what I can do at 16, but I've started my own business that brings in £400 to £500 each month. Dude, well done. Listen, man, the fact that you are 16, you came to a free property investors crash course, and now you're making £400 or £500 a month, you're going to be super successful, buddy. And I'm really impressed. So your question is, what do you think I should do to get started in property? Recommend I do. Thanks for everything. Well, you've been to a crash course, so you probably know the basics of how to find a deal, how to work out the return on investment, about the concept of packaging deals and selling them. You probably met some really cool people. You've got a business now that's making you £400 to £500 a month. What would I do if I were you? I'd probably use that £400 or £500 a month to join networking associations, to start putting yourself around investors. I would get myself a car. I'd be driving up and down the country, viewing properties, and immerse yourself into the property industry. But you're 16, bro, and you're making £400 or £500 a month already in business. Keep doing what you're doing. Surround yourself by winners. Surround yourself by people who are successful. I think that's the biggest thing I would say, so that it feels normal. You need any help? Drop us a shout. Message me on Instagram. All right, Jacob Utting. Hi, Samuel. I'm 16 years old. Oh, my goodness. All these 16-year-olds. What's going on? This is crazy. I'm 16 years old, and I want to start in property, but family doesn't believe in me and think I'm stupid. I need training to be successful like you. They don't believe I can do it, and I was wondering if you had any thoughts on this, as I look up to you very much. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Jacob, firstly is, I can relate to what you're saying. People thought I was stupid practically my whole life when I was a kid. I used to have to I literally sat on a special needs desk when I was at school. I wasn't very good academically. Some people within my family thought I was stupid. So I feel your pain and I get you. My advice to you would be to just prove them wrong with actions, not with words. Don't tell them, don't try and convince them. Don't be like, look at this video that Samuel did. Look, it does work. And try and convince them. Just go and do it and show them. And when you start showing people success, then people are like, oh, wow. I remember someone in my family said, Samuel is thick, but he does know how to make money. I was about 17 at the time, and I remember like, what a strange backhanded compliment. He's thick, like he's stupid, but he does know how to make money. But even though it was a diss, it was like, at least, okay, he is good at making money though. And then as time went on, it's like, actually, he's not that stupid. He's pretty smart. So you got to show people. Okay, I believe in you though, bro. I really do believe in you. And again, like I said before, get around people. If your family are saying you're stupid and they don't believe in you, you're 16, probably living at home. I'm not saying like move out or anything. You're young, but at least find some people that do believe in you and start spending time with friends, mentors, people online, social media groups that do believe in you, because that environment is really important. Big boss, when doing interest-only mortgage, how do I reduce the risk of paying more when interest rises? Fix the rates. Fix the rates and make sure you've got plenty of cushion within the rent and the mortgage. So if you've got a mortgage that's £500 and the rent is £600, that leaves you in a really dangerous position, because if the interest rate goes up a little bit, then suddenly you're not going to it scuppers the deal. Whereas if you're making a rent of £1,000 and the mortgage is £200, mortgage interest rates are going to have to go up a lot to even mean that you're at a break-even point. So that's the first thing. Second thing is to fix the interest rates. You can fix interest rates for 5, sometimes even 10 years. I mean, what's going to happen in 10 years? Well, firstly, your interest rate won't go up, but what will go up probably is the rent. House prices, rent, everything goes up. So that's probably what I would say to protect yourself. Hope that helps. Alexander Jones. I wanted to ask you whether you think buying houses on a single let and building solely a single let portfolio is still a good way to go while starting out. I'm 26 years old. I have 5 single buy-to-lets and I'm trying to save up more, and I'm planning on remortgaging 2 next year to buy more. Each property makes me between 150 and 250 pounds per month. Would you suggest this is good or should I get more creative? I feel like I'm a small-time landlord and I've not really breached into lease option agreement, service accommodation at all. Just interested in your thoughts. Appreciate it, man. So first thing I want to say, Alexander, again, congrats. You know, you're 26, you're a young guy, you got 5 houses. That's great. A lot of people at 26 haven't even got 1 house yet. You know, so that's really good. Celebrate what you've done. Moving forward, dude, I would definitely start doing stuff more creative, because if you're only making 150 to 250 pound a month per property, you got 5, so you're making what, like 800 pound a month. Do you really want to have 50 houses? And it's gonna take you a long time to do it. It's just a slow, old school way to make money. And also there's Section 24, you've got the tenant eviction bans, you've got all the tenants' rights. You only got to have 1 problem property and then it can take out the profits of 2 or 3 other houses. So I'm not about growing this way. Okay, I don't think you should grow wide, I think you should grow this way. And what I mean by that is, rather than saying, oh, well, what I'll do is I'll buy lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of little houses like this, and then one day I'll grow bigger, just grow up like that. So I would just be saying, every time I do a deal, it's going to be a bigger deal than my last deal. I don't want to make £150 a month per property. I want to make £1,000 a month per property. So yeah, HMOs, serviced accommodation, BRRR, recycling your cash, 100%. You need to get more creative. What you're doing is slow, painful, and it will take you 50 years before you can comfortably retire. All right, Richard Harrington. Tying up property 4, 5, and 6 at the moment after watching you. Boom, great job. I'm glad to see people, you know, I've got kids on the channel, 16 years old, and then I've got people with like 5, 6 houses. I'm really glad to see that. All properties are in my local area of South Wales, within 5 miles of each other. My question is, how do you manage properties all over the country? Do you have estate agents manage them for you? If so, what do you pay? 10, 20%? I can see properties in NE at the moment that I think there is value in. Okay, so Richard, great question. Again, congrats. I grew my portfolio like how I exactly recommended not to a minute ago. I got loads of little houses and I also scattered them all across the country. Had our houses literally wherever I went. I'd be like, oh, I've got a house there. Or if I met someone new and they're like, oh, I live in this area. I live in Liverpool. I live in Doncaster. I live in Birmingham. I live in Bradford. I live in Middlesbrough. I'd be like, oh, I've got a house there. Like, that was kind of how I grew my portfolio. Agents typically will charge about 10% to manage a single occupancy house, like a family home. The problem is what I found is that when you've got, it takes a while to get a good agent where you're like, that agent's good. So when you buy a house in a brand new area, you'll get an agent and they won't be very good. And then you're like, oh, and you have to systemize it, set it up. And then finally you'll get a good agent and you'll be like, brilliant. But that process, doing that process in 10 different towns, 20 different towns is really hard. And then what happens is when you've just about got a good area and you've got a good setup, then somewhere else, that letting agent will go bust. Or that letting agent, the manager will go sick and they'll go, oh, I've got a replacement manager though, and they'll be rubbish. You're like, ah! And I found that having lots of different houses in lots of different areas, when you're talking about buy to let, is hard to scale. I ended up having to employ somebody to manage the managers, which was fine, but it's hard work. So I would advise, unless you're doing deals whereby tenants aren't involved, or if you're buying like an apartment block, or you're building an apartment block and you've got a bunch of tenants all in one space, that's kind of different. Or if they're commercial tenants, again, that's kind of different. But if you're buying buy-to-lets or even HMOs, I would say probably stick to 1 or 2 areas. So you've got North Wales or wherever you said, stick there, maybe one other area, but I would keep it to 2 areas and then dominate. And also every time you do another deal, I'd make sure it's a bigger deal than the last deal you did. And go bigger and bigger and bigger, growing this way instead of this way. I hope that helps. So whether you're 16, 60, dreaming about doing your first deal or on your 10th deal, I appreciate you being a subscriber of the YouTube channel. I'm really honored and humbled to be able to help people and see people grow in their journey. If you've got a question about property, comment below and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.